That's just sports, baby.
Crowd goes wild. Strawberry ice, bringing fire and style. Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, all in my zone. This is my stage, my mic, my throne. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy's line is kicking down the door. Step into the ring where the passion ignites. Talking sports all day and all night. From the field to the court to the roaring stands. Strawberry ice with the world in my hands. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy's line is kicking down the door.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city that's actually warming up now of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from that ice cave.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need your shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paper patio, you need anything. I mean anything. Landscaping required. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window, Door, and More. I got it in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and More. The website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also, shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
That's right. We had a great time down at the Moorline Lager House. It was cold, but we were nice and warm inside the Fest tent. So make sure you guys join us for the next Bengals home game. We'll be down inside the Fest tent. It's the big tent out in the grassy area in the Kris Kringle Market. So if you guys have not got your tickets yet for the Best Day Brewing pregame experience live at the Moorline Lager House, go to Moorline Lager House Facebook page and get your tickets and join us for an absolute blast. What is up to everybody in the chat? We've got, let's see here. I got a lot of people in there. Let's see here. We got Stranger in there. We got Brad in there. We got Jeremy Dean, my boy, my brother from another mother. Jeremy Dean's in there. Jack's in there. He said, "Well, no, my video recap was on Monday." Well, I don't do video recaps. I do live shows, and I was sick. So I didn't do a show Monday, Tuesday because I was sick. And then yesterday I couldn't find anyone else to come on the show, and I just didn't do it. So that's what happened there. Lindsay's in the Tony Blazing. And Michael Madden, what's going on? All right. So we are back here trying to decipher what the hell is Joe Burrow talking about. And Nico, I love Dan Orlovsky on ESPN, but he's like, oh, he's definitely telling all the NFL teams, come get me. That's what Joe Burrow is saying. I don't think Joe Burrow is saying. I think Joe Burrow is saying that it's been 3 years and we haven't made the playoffs, and this is not good enough. And I want to go to the playoffs. I want to win Super Bowls. I want to win championships. And what we're doing here isn't working, and you guys need to do better. Now, what he said, and I thought about playing for other teams, like you think about a lot of things. I think Joe's thought about it, and that is a possibility in the future. I don't think he's there yet. This is where the Bengals need to get off their asses and change this narrative. Sign some defensive free agents, get some scouts in here, get better draft picks, and get back to the playoffs. Because despite what has happened the last 3 years, if you look at the games, the Bengals are not that far off from making it to the freaking playoffs. There's so many games this year and last year that they could have, should have won. If they would have scored a couple more, or if they would have made them one more play or whatever. And it's mind-numbingly frustrating as a fan. I can't imagine it being Joe Burrow. And I think that Buffalo game really, I don't want to say broke him, but just really put a damper on everything he worked on this year because he worked his butt off to get back from the toe injury, comes back. He knows we got a shot to make the playoffs. We just got to win out, and they're winning the game by 2 scores, maybe about to go up by 3 scores, and it's back-to-back interceptions, and the defense can't stop anybody, and we lose. That's got to be frustrating, and I think just all of it together just came crashing down where he's just like, I just want to play football, but damn it, I want to win. And that's kind of like where all us Reds fans are like that too. Bengals fans are at now, but we'll see. Anyway, with that being said, it's fantasy football Thursday night. We got the Rams versus the Seahawks, so make sure you get your fantasy teams locked in. And with the man with all the knowledge, way more than I know, is from Fantasy Bankroll. Hope I said that right. He's smiling, so I think I said it right. I say it wrong sometimes. He is Robert Banker. What's up, Bank?
What up, guys? What up, everybody?
Real quick before we get into the questions here, what did you take from what Joe Burrow said?
Yeah, you know what? Like, I know we've said the same thing because I think we were kind of talking about similar stuff last week. I think, I honestly think Joe enjoys messing with everybody sometimes too. Honestly, do. I think he's like everybody, wants to read into everything I say. He's like, let me just go up here. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying he does. I wouldn't be surprised if he went and shut the thing like behind the door, and then they all just started cracking up like, oh, I can't wait to see what everybody says now. Like,
right.
I mean, it's almost a little bit like they're having some fun and almost like not that's what what the season's done, but I think he's like, you know what?
Like, we're gonna screw with the media.
Everybody wants to read into everything now because we can't do this. And I say I have a little bit of a down day and I'm not up there like chipper. He's like, so I not that he is doing that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he a little bit of that is tongue in cheek and he's like, let me exasperate things a little bit just to watch everybody go wild. Now Jamar's got to answer questions again. Jamar loves answering questions about what I'm thinking. I'm sure Jamar's like, man, don't do that shit to me. I'm sure. So
I don't know what he's thinking.
But I think what you said though too, right, Joe, we said this last week, right? He's a introspective dude. He's always thinking. You can't. I'm sure if you've asked him, Joe, have you thought about marbles in space? And he's like, I sure have. And I built some temples with some stones, thinking about it. I think he just thinks about a lot of stuff, and he's thought about a lot, before, with especially being injured, right?
Yeah,
you're rehabbing by yourself. You're doing stuff even when you're in a team setting. You end up by yourself and they go do stuff. So I think he's just he's answering questions with a little bit more weight on his mind, being so this first time he's been out of it, early in the season. Not that it's early in the season, but I think he's just, letting a little bit out and people just can't handle the not completely fully not that he's not composed, but not giving them that completely thought out answer to where it's he's leaving it kind of open-ended for people to interpret, and people are just they're going wild. They're like you said, Orlovsky's like, the Steelers come get Joe. Yeah, we would ever Orlovsky. I know he even said it. They're entered. No, that's not even a. It's not even
going to trade Joe anyway. Come on.
That's yeah.
People are like, well, look what we did to Carson Palmer because the Raiders were stupid. That's the only reason that the Bengals traded Carson Palmer. That's the only reason. Other than that, Mike Brown was going to let Carson Palmer sit there. They weren't going to trade him.
It would take a lot more, I think, even a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what you can package together to give us to go, you know what? That's a good idea. We're going to trade Joe Burrow. I don't even know. It would take 3 first-round picks.
I was going to say, how do you start the conversation where you don't just hang up on somebody?
Yeah, I know.
What are you guys calling about today? All right, hear me out. Joe Burrow. Click. Damn it. All right.
Great.
Hear me out. 5 first-round picks. Joe Burrow. Click. You're like, oh, damn it.
This is the same franchise that could have had the New Orleans Saints' entire draft in '99 and didn't want it and wanted to draft Achilles Smith. They're not going to trade Joe. This whole thing is just, they're not going to trade Joe Burrow. It's not happening. I mean, it's just.
They both do and don't trade to their detriment.
Right. Yes, exactly. I mean, the whole, and I like I said, I think this is more of Joe's like, look, yeah, I've thought about it. And if you guys don't do something, when my contract gets closer to the end, I'm not going to resign with you guys. You're going to have to trade me or something, because I'll become a free agent. He could do that. That's my thing is I think Joe is more like this is 3 years in a row. Which I mean, we have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You should not go 3 years in a row and not make the playoffs. You should not. You should at least make it 2 out of 3 years, at least. I mean, we should have made it the last 2 years. To be honest, I get it. The year Joe got hurt and didn't come back. We should have made it this year. Joe Flacco came in. We had 2 or 3 games there. We should have freaking won. I mean, last year there's so many, and everybody's like, "Well, Joe gets back. It's gonna fix it all." I'm like, you guys remember last year? I mean, we had a lot of games last year that we should have won that we didn't. So I mean, Joe, and I think I'd say it's Joe's human. Joe's like, look, I think he wants it all on his shoulders, which he does, but he's also like, guys, I need help. I screwed up. I threw, an interception in Baltimore or Buffalo, and I had a bad pass, and it ended up to be another one, and we ended up losing the game because their defense couldn't stop. They never made Buffalo punt one time. And then I don't even want to talk about Sunday. I have no idea what the hell that was Sunday. Everybody was cold, and that game was horrible. I mean, it kind of reminded me. I'll put it this way. You remember Zach Taylor's first year when we beat the Steelers on Monday Night Football, and Von Bell made the hit that everybody remembers.
Oh yeah.
Well, everybody forgets. The very next week, we got blown out by the Baltimore Ravens. So I don't. I mean, it wasn't a shutout, but it looked horrible, just like this. I'm like, and I'm
one
not
of those, not interested games.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, man, and I have to tell them, like, man, this team no longer they're interested at all. And I was kind of out on Zach, and then they turn around next year and won Super Bowl. And I know Zach needs to stop bringing that up because that's been a while ago, and you went 3 years and not made the playoffs. But the point of this is Joe is like, we need to do something here, and Bank, I don't think it's that far off to fix this stuff. I mean, really, if you go out and sign a couple key free agents and you actually draft and you hit on your draft, they can fix this defense in a year, I think.
Yeah, no, I think kind of if I would interpret kind of like how Joe was going about it, because me and Joe, I'm the Joe whisperer. I would say like you said, right? Like I don't think he minds doing it himself. If he could do it all himself and win the Super Bowl, he'd be perfectly fine because he doesn't need that extra. I don't feel like he's that type of guy who needs that extra like pat on the back. Oh, you're doing so much. Like he just wants to win, however that is. I think at some point now, though, as he's gotten older and the injuries have piled up a little bit, I think is where he's been, like you said, right? Like, all right, I made 1 or 2 mistakes and now we can't win a game. Like it would be nice to have a little bit more help in case I do have a down game. I know in his head, he's probably like, I'm pretty damn good, but if I could have a little, not that he doesn't have support because on the offense, right? They got they brought all his friends back, and we've talked about that. They're averaging, 7th most points and blah, blah, blah. But where and he knows he's very smart, right? So he knows they could have he even probably knows they could have done the contracts different, structured things to get more money, to put things into a few players. I don't even know if he would think how many, but he has to know, right? We could have invested a few more resources that might have helped us maybe even make the playoffs this year and just continue to win. I don't even think he cares about a record. I think he's like, honestly, we have a losing record, but we make the playoffs. I'm in the big dance. I think he really cares about the big dance. I don't think he cares about anything. It's just get into the playoffs and let's win in the playoffs. So he doesn't care about any of that. I just, like you said, I think there's some sort of like kind of click, and I don't think it's the click like the Orlovsky click, like come get me. I think it's more just like all right, how can I talk about how I'm feeling, throw a little bit of weight around that hopefully does, like I've heard everybody talking about it. If there's somebody that can make some of those changes happen, it's going to be Burrow. So how can he do that because he still wants to be a respectful dude. I know that, right? He's a good guy. He's like, I want to do this without being a asshole but make changes, because I don't think he wants to wait until he gets to that time where they're talking about opt-outs or re-signing, or I think he's like, man, let's just get it figured out and let's just win. I don't want to talk about contract stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I've said this before, T. Higgins wouldn't be a Bengal if Joe didn't say anything last year. They would have let him leave. So they do listen to Joe. So Holmes wants to know what I thought about them leaving the snow on the seats. Well, I'll put it to you this way. They did what the NFL, and I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just saying they did what the NFL said they had to do, and apparently they had over 200 people call in sick. Now, that's not, to me, it's not just on the Bengals, it's also on the city too. They both kind of dropped the ball. You pay that much money for seats, you should be able to get your seats cleaned off. They did have some seats cleaned off, like the lower bowl was cleaned off, but not the upper bowl. But yeah, that was a misfire on all accounts. They should have somehow, or did what Buffalo did and paid the fans to come in and clean the seats off. Remember when they had all that snow a couple years ago?
Yeah, coming in, whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah, they could have done that. But I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't, they should have done better. But let's get to
I know there was that we had that talk and that question from Andrew.
Yep, I'll bring up here. I'm at a 16T league looking for advice on my wide receiver 3 start this week. Rashad Shahid.
Here, let me get. I got you. Rashid Shaheed, Zacchaeus, or Golden. Yeah, when it comes to the players' names, I'll get them for you there, ISO.
Thank you. I need some help on that. I'm like,
yeah, with 16-team league, those are always tough, man. When you're trying to get that wide receiver 3 in there. Of those people, I would probably have to go Shaheed. He's started to finally look like he's clicked a little bit with Darnold the past couple of weeks. So, and everybody's still trying to take away Jackson Smith and Jigba, although they're not doing a very good job. So, and that game's tonight too. And the Rams have been pretty good against running backs, but not so much against receivers. So I expect Jackson Smith and Jigba and anybody in the receiving core for the Seahawks to have a pretty good, at least setup for tonight. So, and if you had to go second, I'd pick Zacchaeus just because Burden and Odunze are out for the Bears, I think, this week. So he's going to get a lot of extra looks this week. So, and then DJ Moore too. If you got DJ Moore, definitely try and play him. So, and Golden, I'm still waiting. It's hit or miss. It's been pretty miss. So that'd be my last in that. But yeah, I think Shaheed is the number one of that pick. The only reason I might look at Zacchaeus is because of the full PPR. He might get a couple extra targets, although Loveland's been picking up the targets too. So for the Bears. So I would still go Shaheed, Zacchaeus, and Golden. Good luck, Andrew.
Got it. All right. So
I don't know who it was. Somebody who actually reaches out every week, reached out last week, and we were talking about going into the playoffs, and they brought up Pitts, and I just want to go ahead and apologize. Not that I would have known, it wasn't mine, but I said I recommend not playing Pitts because he was coming off 2 of his best games in a long time. And what does he do? Has his best game of his career with, 12 catches or whatever it was for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. His first 100-yard receiving game since his rookie season. Only a second touchdown game of his career. So I do apologize for not recommending Pitts. So anybody who faced Pitts last week was going through a buzzsaw.
There you go. And I just got a text from Trags. He is buried at work and he's got dinner plans. He will not be able to join us though. So a couple things here before we get the super chat. Pork Chop ain't no team in the NFL scraping ice from over 60,000 seats. Well, like I said, Buffalo had their fans. They didn't clean any of them off, and they had them do it. So yeah, there are NFL teams that have done that. And
maybe it's the I don't know the blue collar or the military. Whatever. I just don't. I would be a little pissed. Like, come on, man, you guys can't clean it off. But I also would have been like, scrape, and then just I also don't sit down. So that to me would have probably not been that big of a deal.
I don't sit down. And some more Bengals fans are wasting it, just like the Reds fans are, in my opinion, wasting their money on a billboard here. It says fire Zach Taylor, fire Duke Tobin. So yeah, that's up. Let me put that.
I saw that somebody was talking about that. I saw.
I mean, it's cool and all. It's a waste of money. It's that they're not going to fire him. I wish they would at least fire Duke and change the structure. But it's kind of like when the guys bought the sign for Bob Castellini to sell the team, man. That was a couple years ago. They still own the team, so you guys could do that. That's cool. I mean, I think everybody, the Bengals know they want changes, or that we want changes, and I think they're going to change stuff, but they're going to change them the way the Bengals will change them, which isn't always the way we want them to. So, all right, Fuzzy Balls, thanks for $10 super chat. Joe Goodberry's breakdown. Miles Murray said that unless the Bengals extend him now, he will end up being too expensive down the road. I would extend him and save money now.
So I don't want to cut you off, but what you said, I would extend him now to save money. Bam, that just guarantees it won't get done right there. Bam.
right.
Will not get done.
It would make too much sense to do that. They don't. That would have saved them money on Jamar and T, and well, they didn't do that either. But yes, I agree with you. I would extend him now because they're gonna have to sign. Well, hopefully they sign Joshua Osai, but with him and his agent, I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. We'll see.
Murphy's been the last 3-4 weeks has looked really good, man. He's been disruptive. He looks like it's like he's understanding not just like making his moves too, right? Like I'm not a big D-line breakdown guy, but he's holding the edge pretty good when he needs to. He's been creating pressure, getting sacks. So yeah, man, I think it was, did he run down Lamar? Was it the one he ran down Lamar with the angle that was really good, right?
Yeah,
basically,
Murphy's
which is
good last couple.
Which is some of the things that we've struggled with, that angle down the line of the chase angle, man, where people just they chase that back hip and then just get outran on the turn.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would extend Murphy. I would resign Osai, and then to me, like I said before, we gotta get an interior defensive guy to put pressure up the middle. I want Caleb Downs from Ohio State. I would love to be able to draft him, or I don't know if he'll be there. I don't know. Right now, I think we're drafted 9th or 10th. Hopefully,
he'll be 9th right now.
9th. Okay, there you go. So hopefully, he'll be there. We can get him. That would be cool. And like Dale's told me a couple times on here that it's a linebacker and safety heavy draft. So, and what I'm scared of is the Bengals were like, well, we drafted 2 linebackers this year. Really should draft and think, no, go draft another one. You're fine. Like, dude,
I also worry when it's a heavy draft that the Bengals go, oh, well, that means we can pass on this guy and and then we'll pass on this guy. And then they end up getting like an offensive guard when you're like, we didn't even get any of the positions we needed. Damn it.
Yeah, like the couple years ago, we had all those tight ends and we needed a damn tight end and we didn't draft any of them.
Like, now, granted, I think there was only, I can't remember who it was, but I know you're talking about. Most of them were gone, the 3 that were gone before us. But it was like, still, you're right. Like, it never, and when it does work out, they just seem to like we talked about last week, they overthink themselves. Like, you know what? You know what we can do here? This guy that's going to be available in the second, let's get him in the first. And the guy that's going to be available in the first, let's hope he's available in the second. And then we'll grab him then.
That's Bengal eyes right there. But just draft the best player available. Just quit making it harder than it is. Which it just kills me. We're going to talk about this ad nauseum for who knows how long, because I mean, I guess I'm just numb to it anymore. I don't know. I mean, the Bengals should make changes. I don't know if they will. I mean, at least go get some more scouts. So, because you've obviously not been able to draft here really good lately. And the thing is, like, what kills me back is I've seen them do this. Like in 2020, 2021, 2022, they were aggressive in free agency. And I know everybody's like, well, that's when they weren't paying Joe Burrow. They still have money. Like, even with Joe Burrow and Jamar, they got money. They could spend it. And like you said before, the way they structure contracts, I don't understand all the contract stuff, but I know they cost themselves more money somehow the way they structured T contract. And they're lawyers. They're supposed to know how to structure contracts better. Like, why? And the thing is, like, they can't anymore. There's so much information out there. They can't just highlight. Like, it's surprising that nobody knew about this, but I thought I knew this, that Zach Taylor got a contract extension after the 2021 season. So he's extended through 27, I think, is what it is. It's what Paul Dana Jr. is reporting, which I'm kind of surprised that nobody knew about that. Apparently, I know Locked On Bengals are shocked that they never knew anything about that.
Yeah, because I think they said it was a 5-year extension originally after 21, which would have put it to 26, 22, 23, 24, 25, and then 26, right? So I think from what I saw, I didn't get to dig into it too much either, but it was kind of like, wait, did they add another year to make it to 27 or?
We don't know. There's no details. They didn't even tell anybody.
Well, and going back real quick to what you were saying about them being lawyers when they're doing these contracts and wondering, and when we have people who do break down the contracts, Andre Perota and all those guys who do those contract breakdowns, they do such a good job of telling us what to expect, right? So it's like, why did you not structure it this way when you could have saved all this money? But then, like you said, with them being lawyers, I also wonder, it just makes me question, are they doing it on purpose, right? Like some of these people have talked about, right, in the shows that we've ad nauseum the same topics. Are they doing it on purpose to reach that certain level of spent money to the cap or however it works? One of those cap things I don't really understand fully on how you move the numbers around, but is that something they're doing on purpose for that reason? I would be inclined to say yes, but.
Right. Sorry, I Trags would see if we can call in. I'm like, just call it on my phone. Like I don't have. That's why they StreamYard needs to give me a phone so we can
Needs to add
do live call-ins here. So I was kind of halfway listening to what you're saying. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Texting them.
No, I was saying. Well, basically the gist of it, I was saying is if we're questioning why they're structuring contracts like that, and we know they're not stupid. Are they doing it on purpose just to reach those levels that they need to reach? Right?
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's even dumber. I mean, because you're wasting money just to waste money. I mean, you could take that money and improve your team. Like, and they, who knows, they might do it for that reason. Like, look, we spent money. I'm like, but that's kind of where I'm at here. It's just, there's so much information out there now. We're gonna find out what you're doing, and we can call you out on it. And the national media can call you out on it even more than we ever could before. So that's where I'm like, I feel like if we keep doing that, they're going to get tired of it because, I mean, and they eventually will change because, I mean, I think that's what actually happened when they got rid of Marvin Lewis and they went with Zach Taylor and gave more control to Duke Tobin. You know, that they were like, all right, well, we're going to change because this isn't working. And everybody says we're too stubborn and too this. And sometimes I think they're lazy, honestly. I mean, because, and I say that because if you're not willing to hire a GM or have these other, which I don't know if they do this or not, have these other assistant GMs negotiate contracts. As far as we know, Katie negotiates pretty much all the contracts. Her and Troy negotiate all the contracts. Duke doesn't negotiate contracts. So you got two people negotiating all these contracts, and you got these assistant GMs, which I still don't know what they're assisting because we don't have a GM, which is still weird. That's their title. I don't know if they're why they're not trying to negotiate a contract, because you can negotiate a contract, say, all right, I gotta get this approved, bam, and take it to Katie or Troy, and no, I don't like that. I hate you. Do better. You know, that's where I'm like, okay, if you don't want to go and get that help, then you're taking all this on yourself. Then you need to work your ass off to be able to do all this stuff. And if you're not willing to do that, then hire more people or give more people that are already in your organization the power to do that. You know, it's just, I don't get, that's where I go stubborn. And I'm like, sometimes I just think they're lazy. Like you said, like, oh, we don't want to work that hard to go out and try to find some more guys to help. We'll just throw it on this contract and look like we spent more money than we did.
It's almost like close your eyes and throw a dart against a board, and they're just hoping to hit a bullseye. Like that's right. It. Like I hope everything comes together. I hope that all the players stay healthy and everybody is better than we think, and that they don't, and that the contracts are perfect. And it's like I want to see them like win. You're still going to own the team. Yeah. Give us like a 5-year, 7-year stretch where you're like, let's try a different business model a little bit. Yeah. Let's spend above the cap a few times. Not even saying go crazy.
Spend to the cap.
Up to it. Maybe dip a toe in. You know, oh, we went over a little bit. But however you structure, you don't even have to go over. I know teams are smarter about it. Like I said, we don't know that parts of it. Right. Just try a little bit different. And you've already seen what can happen, right? I think they saw how the fandom fury like picked up right when we went to the Super Bowl. Can you imagine if that was happening all the time?
Year. Yeah,
you had a wait list that's about to not be a wait list anymore. Right. It's about to be just people that are coming to the games because you're eating up all that goodwill. Your wait list could be
gone.
It could be not, maybe not Packers-esque, but I know Bengals fans.
Oh, and it could be huge.
People would be passing that shit on to their family. Like, my kid's going to get to see a home game, I promise. Yeah. So they could do it, but like you said, if it's laziness, is it just I don't. And they're blowing it with the best asset, tool, worker, player that they've ever had.
Yeah. And like and like I said, everybody wants Joe Burrow. Like this,
And
guy
this
here
is the
takes
time
purpose.
too, with the way the salary cap is structured. Now is the time that you can do that stuff. Like, it can do so much more now.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear that they don't have the money. They got the money. They're spending under the salary cap. And like I said, everybody wants them. Like this guy here, or girl, Big Brother, said Burrow get traded to Minnesota. Okay, what are you offering us? You're going to give us like 5 first-round picks? I mean, that's what it's going to take to get Burrow. I mean,
well, I know, and everybody's always like, I want to see him with Justin Jefferson. Yeah, well, if you get Burrow, we're getting Jefferson back.
Well,
I hope.
It's as stupid as Bengals fans last year going, "Oh, Justin Jefferson's coming to Cincinnati." Like, no, he's not. Or when he was going through his contract negotiation, no, he's not. They're not going to trade him to us. So and we don't need him anyway. And we got a fantasy football question here. Jordan, PPR, help a wide receiver 2 and flex with DK, M. Wilson, Watson, Evans, Sutton, and Pittman.
DK, that's a good lineup, man.
There you go.
So let me see here. I like Wilson. It does have kind of a tough matchup. Let me pull up the matchups here real quick. I was going in there. Actually, I got Wilson on my bullish list this week. Let's see here. Let me just go ahead and pull up what I was writing about in there. Yeah, he's been on a tear over the last 5 games. So let me see. We need 2 of those. Let's see here.
You stumped them.
No, I'm just trying to look. There's some good matchups this week too. I like Sutton's got a good matchup, I think, too. I like Michael. Like they're kind of in betweens too. I don't like the Watson matchup just because I don't know. The Bears been playing pretty tough. It's at home. It's either the Bears or the Packers on the road playing at Chicago. So I'm just leaning. I want to say Michael Wilson. I like the Lions defense is good against the rush. So I actually have Warren and Gainwell. They've been splitting a lot more. I have them on my bearish list this week. So, but the Lions defense hasn't been as good against the pass. So if they are going to shut that down, that's obviously going to lead for DK Metcalf having a big game. So I'm leaning DK Metcalf, Michael Wilson for you there. I was just trying to look at some of these other numbers real quick before, because that is a good lineup. That's a good problem to have. And I'm just worried about Pittman, man, just because I know Phillip Rivers is a great story. He's the Joe Flacco 2.0, Joe Flacco light. What would that even be? If he's more than Joe Flacco, he came back from being retired. So I'm leaning. I would say right now I would go DK and Michael Wilson. Let me look here real quick though, because who's Cowboys or the Broncos got the Jags, right? Yeah, Jags have been pretty good against. Yeah, Jags have been pretty good against wide receivers as well. Here, let me check these numbers for you. What's the tough thing about it is given so many, because I always have to. Normally it's 2 or 3, and I've got them all like queued up. I'm like, let's see here. Oh yeah, no, Jags actually aren't that good. They haven't been as good. I was thinking about them against running backs there. So, yeah, I mean, I would lean DK for sure, because I think, like I said, the Lions D's been really tough against running backs. So I think it's going to have to be, and we obviously know the Lions can score. So I think that's going to be more of a game where they're going to have to throw the ball. So I'd lean DK for sure as your wide receiver too. And he's been kind of clicking with Rodgers as much as their heads have been, going against each other. And honestly, I'd go Sutton, and Wilson is up there too, but he's got a little bit tougher matchup. So yeah, I'd go DK at Sutton, and then Wilson would be my batters on deck there.
All right. Big Breakfast here says start 2, Burrow, Stafford, Brassard, or Dart.
Double quarterback league. All right. Yeah, I got Stafford. Stafford's got a tough matchup tonight against the Seahawks, but
Seahawks got good defense.
Yeah, they got a good defense, but
Stafford's been killing it though.
But Stafford's been on fire. Yeah, I actually did a little breakdown for us because we usually do talk Thursday night football there. So I actually have Stafford in my like list because the Seahawks have been tough against quarterbacks and wide receivers until they really get into the red zone. And then they're one of the bottom 10 teams against both the receivers and quarterbacks inside the red zone. So not that always matters, but I think Parkinson. So I've got Parkinson as a player, I think, too. If you've got Parkinson with Devontae Adams being out, I think Parkinson's going to have another big game this week. I think he's going to see at least I mean, you saw he had a good game last week, 2 touchdowns, right? He's going to see at least half the targets that Devontae Adams got. So, yeah, I expect a good game from Stafford. And then it was Jacoby Brissett and Dart.
I like Jackson Dart. Who are the Giants playing this week?
He was on my my list last week. He did good. The Giants got the Vikings, though. That's the only thing that scares me because Vikings are one of the top defenses against the pass as far as wide receivers and tight ends go. So that makes it tough. So Dart's got the legs, but if it's only the legs, he'd have to run for, over 100 and a couple touchdowns to make up for that too. I just wanted to look at Brissett right here. Brissett's got the Falcons too. Falcons have been pretty tough, man, against the pass this year too. So that's what makes it kind of.
I start Burrow and Stafford. That's what
honestly, to be completely honest, this would have been such an easy choice even last week. I would have said Burrow and Stafford without even looking at it. Burrow just put that the way everything's been this week and the way they played. Although it's going to be a warm game in Miami.
Ball out in Miami.
I wish T was going to be back. That's what I wish. It doesn't look like he's going to be back.
Is he out?
It doesn't look like. I know he was limited today and was not trending how they normally like it. But if he comes back, then I think even more so. But yeah, let's go Burrow. I would say Burrow and Stafford, and that's a good 2-quarterback league to have.
All right, got another one here. Burrow or Lamar this week, 6 points per TD in a non-PPR. I'm probably playing Sutton at wide receiver 1 in my wide receiver 2. Would you play Jefferson and Bouquet or Jalen Reed if Watson is most likely stuck between first 2? Sorry.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was talking about with Watson when on that last question. I was wondering about his being injured and everything too. So let's see, Sutton at wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. Would you play? I know Jefferson's such a disappointment, man. I'm doing a list of disappointing players that I'm going to put out on the YouTube show. But I've got Jefferson in 2 leagues, and I was pumped to have him. And I'm like, I got Gibbs and Jefferson. I'm about to tear it up.
About to ball out.
But yeah, it's part of the quarterback stuff he's dealt with. But he's also been he's like wide receiver 44, which is ridiculous, dude.
He's 44.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's partly not his fault, but it is still. Come on, Jettas, get out there and one hand some balls for me.
Throw the ball to yourself.
If Lamar's that's a weird one, like we just talked about, right? I think Burrow's going to have a good game. I think he's going to bounce back. Just the competitor in him. I don't know what was going on last week.
I don't know.
Lamar's been up and down this week, but he's got the Patriots this week, and their defense has been one of the top just across the board against all positions this year. So it is in Baltimore, which is a little bit of a bonus for them. But I just think I've always liked Mike Vrabel. I think he's going to have a good, solid plan to make life difficult for Lamar and take away the things he likes. So I would start Burrow, and then I would go Agbuka. I know it's tough. It's tough for me to say. I think especially with Mike Evans coming back, I think that just takes, even though he's still working his way back to fully, like we talked last week. I think that takes even more pressure off of Agbuka, and then he can start to get more room to operate. And we saw how he can do when he gets that room earlier in the year. Yeah. But that is tough, man. And I'm hoping I'm not the jinx for Jefferson this week, and he does the Kyle Pitts and does because I can't take him out. He's been in my lineup every week this year, and I'm like, I think 3 points last week or 6 points, and I'm like, it's terrible, man.
You're killing me, Smalls. All right, our boy Chop here. Sorry, I'm starting Rivers over Hal this week. Tell me I'm wrong, Rob. You're wrong.
That's a great choice to have right there, buddy. No, not that I don't think Rivers. I just worry, you know what I mean? Because like I said, with Pittman, what I was saying is I worry just, Rivers is still coming back from not playing in 5 years. So that's just worry about the timing and all that stuff being on when I was saying about Pittman. So I would, if it comes down to that though, yeah, I would start Rivers for sure.
There you go. All right, Chris got just a question here.
And Chop, I wanted to get back. I saw your comment earlier. We were talking though. Yeah, there's no problem with the D. I love the D. Let's keep the D just as it is, and let's just run it back next year.
Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect. Our defense is great. I don't think that's what Chop was saying, but that you like the D is what.
That D.
Yeah.
You don't have to put that in there.
All right, Chris, does anyone else think this extension just happened and they are too embarrassed to admit it? No, according to Paul Dano Jr., it happened in 2021, according to his research. So no, I don't think it just happened. According to Paul Dano Jr., who's the one who broke the story, and he said Joey's done with Zach is what's happening. No, I don't think that's what's happening, because I mean that's the same thing that like last year when everybody thought Zach or Joe was done with Zach last year in Tennessee, and he was yelling at Zach and blah blah blah, and then we found out on quarterback that's not what he was. He wasn't mad at Zach. He was just mad at the players for messing up.
He was bad at how bad that win was.
yeah, exactly. So I don't think, like I said, Joe wants to win. I think him and Zach get along. I don't think he's done with Zach. I think he's done with this not making the playoffs. Whatever that entails, he wants that fixed. And I think I guarantee you Joe is giving his thoughts, more detailed thoughts to the Bengals than he has in any of his press conferences, because you can see it rattling in his brain going, okay, I said this, but how can I say this? How can I put this out here now without actually saying exactly what I said, and just to give them a little bit of something? How do I answer this? As close to truthful as he can. It's kind of like what Joe is. So, what did you say, Chris? He was done then. No, he wasn't. All right. No, he wasn't done then. You got to go watch quarterback. He wasn't done then. So anyway.
Yeah, it was that, just that Zach telling him, hey, it's okay, we won. I loved it. It was hilarious because you got to fully see it too, right? It's okay, we won. Nah, fuck that. We played like shit.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, if you take that, like, he was that upset about a win. Like, how upset do you think he is now about what's going on? I was like, and like I said, I don't think he's upset at Zach. I think he's upset at the whole freaking thing. He's tired of getting hurt. He's tired. Like I said, he worked his ass off to come back here, and then he throws 2 interceptions, and the whole thing explodes. And he's like, and nobody was there to help him. That's the part that pisses him off. It's like, I think, it's like, we're not good enough on that side of the ball to make a stop when we need to. I mean, last year's, tell me one time when this defense, when they absolutely had to make a stop, that they did. They haven't. And that's been the problem. So, I mean, that's on Duke Tobin. That is on. Yeah, it's on. And look, I would put on Zach too. There's some games here we should have freaking won. Zach Taylor should have been able to coach him up to win some of these games. I'm not taking any of the blame off Zach. Like, Zach is much to blame for this as anybody. And if they fire Zach, fine. I'm to the point, something's got to change. I'm not calling for, my biggest thing is the drafting and developing and our offseason plan. Like, for 2 years before last year, it looked like we didn't have a plan. It's like we let Jesse Bates go, and oh crap, Von Bell left. We didn't expect that. Oh crap, let's go sign Nick Scott, where the hell his name was, and then DJ Reader left. Oh crap, well, we don't have anybody. We'll just go without a nose tackle. Like last year, it looked like they actually had a plan. Again, I did not like the plan. I stated that multiple times. Their plan was to get these rookies who Lou wouldn't play and develop them to get Al Golden to do it. But to get out, and he has. I mean, if you look, Joseph Osai's playing better. Miles Burry's playing better. The linebackers are getting better. I still think they need to maybe draft another one and get even better. But there's other holes like safety. They never addressed it. I'm like, how do you not address that at all? So it's like, for me, like they're not going to have the Trey Henderson thing. They're going to let him leave. They're not going to have Jamar T. Hopefully they can go, all right, we're going to focus in on, we want to sign this guy and this guy and this guy. We want to draft this guy because they've done it before. When they signed DJ Reader, when they signed Trey Henderson, when they signed Cheetah Awuzie and Mike Hilton, all these guys, they signed them. They had a plan and they were aggressive. Go back to that plan. And I think that's what Joe's saying. You've done it before. Why'd you stop? That's
I think who was talking about it? Was it Locked On or I can't remember? All these shows. We always talk about all these shows kind of run together when I listen to them and stuff. But they're talking about that specific thing, right? About how that year they had been aggressive, right? But it was kind of a outlier year for them, for everybody, right? Because coming off, I think it was right around COVID, right? And everything everybody's values were kind of salary cap dipped. Everyone's values were kind of down. So I think they found themselves with like an embarrassment of riches that were like presented to them, not for them being as aggressive as not to say that they weren't, right. Like we're saying, go back to that, but they were. But I think they were more surprised. Like, wait, we would only get 3 of you, but you're cheaper than we thought, and you're cheaper than we thought, and you're cheaper than we thought.
They did it after the 22 season when they got Ted Karras and Alex Kappa. You can say what you want about Alex Kappa. Alex Kappa was a good signing, even though he got hurt and he hasn't been the same. So I because everybody brings that up, like, well, the salary, the 2020 COVID and dropped every salary down. They did it then. They went out. They were like first day free agent signed Ted Karras and Alex Kappa. So I don't want to hear this. They only did it because of this. No, because they did it then when the salaries were still high. So
no, I'm saying, I think that helped get them going, and then they were aggressive, but I think they pulled back. I think they pulled back a little bit after that. And they're like, all right, we're gonna go out and get these guys we want, but then they still kind of retract a little bit. Whereas they were a little bit more, I think, and I think just that because pricing with them was always the money. I think the pricing played that big part into it of like, well, we didn't think we were going to be able to get a Trey Hendrickson or a DJ Reader for 10 million less or 10 million less here, and then they used it, and that's what I'm talking. I want them to use it. Like, okay,
right,
all right, you might not get the value you expect, but you have the money, so let's just use it instead of like. We always got to build in all of these, I'm sure, I don't know if any other team knows how much a team builds in a rookie salary pool other than Bengals fans, because we always talk about, well, they've got to set aside money for, I don't know if I've ever heard another team mention that. They might, I might just not listen to their things, but we definitely know that the Bengals are going to set aside their pool for rookie money every year. It's like, oh my God, just don't set aside that pool. That's what I'm talking about. Let's just use some of that money.
You brought up DJ Reader, and one thing I want to bring up too about that, they overpaid for DJ Reader. That's the reason he came to the Bengals. They paid him more than anybody else would. Now, why they just let him walk? I mean, I know he was hurt, but you had nobody to replace him with. I mean, it's just and I said their plan was, and it was the right way to go about it. You're gonna put all your money on the offense. Well, you need to go to have a young defense. Well, the drafting and developing wasn't happening. I'm going to go look at the Los Angeles Rams, which they're going to piss me off if they go and win a Super Bowl this year, because they went from F those picks to get traded for all these different guys. Now they've come back, and they've got a young, cheap, very good defense. Yeah. That's exactly what the Bengals tried to do. It didn't work, because they've missed on too many guys. I mean, we can go through the list of people they've missed on. And I know Zach's talking about, well, we got all 6 of our guys that played this year. Yeah, they played. I mean, Shamar Stewart, we don't know what we got. The linebackers, I'm still not totally sold on. I think Dylan Fairchild's. I think he's solid there. Rivers might be eventually.
It's yes, he's right in that, right? But and we talked about it last week, the same thing, right? But why do they always have to go against consensus when it never seems to work out for them, really? Like, they might be like, okay, these players we're getting, okay. But like, when you look at, and I'm not always a big PFF grade or this grade or how they look at it, but if you're just going and you're stacking those type of things, all the players we're passing on that the consensus says are better players that everybody else seems to have ranked higher are now ranked higher than our players that we're drafting that the consensus said was ranked lower. Oh my, is this some sort of, did we just break the code? I'm not saying consensus is always right, but holy shit. Like, if like you said, there's a long list. There's a long list. We can look back and go, nope, what the hell? Nope. Oh, you're cool. Nope. But then you look and go, who's available at these times? And if you look at the who's available for the Bengals drafts, we have to have one of the worst who's available passes of all time. Like, that should be something. I'm going to tell Joe Goodberry, go do a who's available draft and see like who you would have taken and see what our all-star roster might look like or something. Because there's players that we all look at, and like I said, we're not all right, and we're not there for a reason and whatever. But everybody now. There's so many services available online, people breaking down film that may or may not be right, but that put enough information together that you can you can make a better decision. This isn't the 60s where you're looking at just one draft guide and going, well, he says he's big and fast. Let's take him. Like,
right. Yeah. I think it's like, well, there's been some guys on here that they said this, that the Bengals, and this is where I hate this, but this is how they act. They act like they're the smartest people in the room, which doesn't make any sense to me because it's proven that you're not. Just go look at the drafts you've done. Like, don't sit there and that's where I got kind of a little irritated with Zach and said, well, our young guys, which he's right, they played them and they played good. I can't sit there and say, oh, you've hit on all of them. I don't know if you have or not. You're really not going to know for 3 years. I mean, they've played them, and I can't remember who made the comment in there that this could be Miles Murphy's actually rookie year because he's actually getting playing time.
Yeah.
And that's on Lou. That was where I banged my head against the table last year. Like, play him, play Joe. You got to find this stuff out. Jordan Battle has had a good year. I know he's been ups and downs, but this is the most consistent playing time Jordan Battle's got. You know, and that's where and I think that's where Zach and Lou butted heads. Where I think Zach wanted to play these young guys, and Lou didn't want to. And now Zach's getting what he wants. It hasn't worked. Now, if we had a healthy Joe Burrow this year, maybe things are different. Maybe they're not. I don't know because I go back to last year where we had a healthy Joe Burrow, and our defense still didn't stop anybody. So, I mean, the thing is, like, you got to get – I'm not saying you have to go out and sign 5 free agents. Sign 3. Sign some veterans. That's the thing, too, is on this defense, who's the leaders on this team? I mean, we lost Jesse Bates. We lost DJ Reader. We lost Cheetah Baby Louisier. We're losing Trey Henderson. I mean, we're losing all the leaders we had on that Super Bowl defense. They're all going to be gone. After Trey Henderson's there, they're all gone. After he's gone, they're all gone. Like, who's the leaders on this team? You need to get a veteran guy in here. Been there, done that, you know, to take the leadership role, I think.
I think the key is going to be getting, and obviously it's always the key, right? But getting the right guys, like, meaning don't just get a guy. Like, this is no offense to any free agents they brought in. I'm not even going to call anybody specifically out. I'm not thinking about anybody, but this is no offense to anybody, but don't wait and see what's left. Not say always got to get the number one free agent because that doesn't always work out either. But go get a guy. Go get somebody that you feel confident is going to make an impact on your team, and not we're going to plug him in and he's going to help out. Like, no, I want somebody that you're like if you put the DJ Reader when we got him, right? You're like, damn, like he is eating these blocks. He's tossing guys to the side with his leg bent back, looking like it's about to break. Like, just get the right guys. Don't just spend money to spend money.
Right. And that's why I go back to, they did a really good job of that for like, I'll go from like 2020 to 2022. They did a really good job. They hit on most of the free agents. I mean, that they brought in. Now, 2023, Nick Scott was awful. TJ Slayton, I haven't given up on him, but he hasn't been the run stuffer I thought he was going to be. Oren Burke is, well, I think he's kind of what we thought he was. They really didn't sign any impact guy. Like I said, I thought TJ Slayton would be more of an impact guy. I think it would help TJ Slayton if he had another dude next to him who could be a run stuffer and, I don't know, get pressure on the quarterback. That might help.
I think somebody too, not, like I said, I don't do all the like D-line breakdown, but I think if he would have been with somebody like a Sam Hubbard, who was setting an edge, a solid set on the edge, and then you've got Slayton, who's solid, can eat up 2 people, right? You've taken up with 2 of your guys, right? 3 of the offensive linemen right there. So I think someone like that. I think the problem has been this year, we haven't been able, when they don't stunt and loop, they don't get the pressures, and even when they are stunting and looping, whoever's supposed to set the edge hasn't always set the edge. In fact, they've opened the door and said, please take this outside lane all the way as far as you can. But
right.
I think like
Josh Allen, here you go.
Yeah, well, Lamar Jackson, even running backs too. It's like,
go back to that Josh Allen, that one of his runs. I can't remember which one it was. We're blitzing, and we literally run right past him. He runs right. I mean, I know they got a chip on the blitzer. Like, it was. I can't. If it was a 3rd and 15, I think it was a touchdown one. I can't remember. Either way, he's running there. Like, I don't know. Stop. Keep him contained. You're getting chipped. I mean,
You know that's part of his game. So
Right.
you've got
Like,
it's like
that's where it's like they don't have football IQ sometimes. It's like that's Josh Allen. He can run right past you or run over your ass.
well, and that's where some of that the missing veteran leadership I think you were talking about where
Right.
that really plays a point because a lot of those players that were on the team a few years ago, they were playing 2 games a year against Lamar Jackson, and they were getting used to, all right, we've really got to set an edge. We've really got to play down the line. We can't rush upfield, or get too deep because he'll be gone. So
Right.
I think when you used to play a Josh Allen, you were like, oh, we've seen this, right?
Right.
Basically a little bit bigger Josh or a little bit bigger Lamar Jackson. So I think now with all that, that's things that now these guys are learning now. Now we're going through all these growing pains again, which is going to happen sometimes. It's just frustrating to see when you're like,
when you have, let's say when you have a young defense, you're going to go through that. That's why if you had a couple veterans in here to help soften that or help lead them through this. I mean, because like I said, we literally have 2 rookie linebackers, and the linebackers are one that have the green sticker. They're calling the plays and all that stuff for the defense. That's a lot to ask for a rookie, let alone 2 of them in a very important position for your team. So hopefully they get better next year. I mean, we'll see.
yeah.
Yeah. I hate to say hope, but I mean, we just gotta wait and see what they do this offseason. It's just they've got to do something. I want them to be aggressive in free agency. That's going to show me something. If we got to sit there and wait till the 2nd or 3rd week before the Bengals sign anybody again, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We're doing this again.
Oh. Like, yeah, it's like we're just gonna, like I said, that's what I don't want. I don't want us to wait until it's, oh, okay, let's see who's left.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's spend some money on him, and like it's kind
of like what the Reds are doing right now with the power bat, which we got to get out of here soon. But answer me this, Bank. They were willing to spend $125 million on Kyle Schwarber, and it's with room to grow, from what I've heard, because he's from here. Why in the hell would they do that for anybody else? Because, yes, I would love to get Kyle Schwarber, but if you give me Cody Bellinger, that'd be great too. I'll take him. I might go buy a Cody Bellinger jersey. I want to win. If they play for the Reds, I don't care if they're from Timbuktu. If they come here and they hit me 30 homers, cool, and we can go to the playoffs. I don't know, win a playoff series. I'm all in. Like, why don't the Reds ownership see that? They're and that's where.
So, 2 things. First, I want to say, like, that goes back to what we were talking about before with, like, what is wrong with these Cincinnati sports team owners? Do you not realize that we are itching for somebody just to win? Look at, FC Cincinnati. I was talking about on Twitter this week. They came out, and kudos to them, right? They had, and I said, the best run organization is the youngest one in the city, because they came out after, being the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference and making the playoffs, winning against Columbus and still losing in the 2nd round. And they came out and said, things aren't good enough. We apologize. We're going to fix things. They just got ranked the best field in MLS. It's like they're doing things and they're still not happy. Not saying everybody needs to do that, but God, look what they're getting. People are just throwing
money at them.
Everybody's like, wanting to go see the matches and everything. But if one of these, the Reds or the Bengals would just do that, God, they would people would be all over them. But now getting back to the Schwarber thing, I think that just highlights how horrible the owners are. They're like, literally, and I mean this in the fact that they're like, we'll commit to this guy because he's from Cincinnati, because we think he'll bring in more people because he's from Cincinnati, not because he's going to help us win baseball games. Because we want people from Cincinnati to go, hey, look, this guy from Cincinnati, and that's why I'm going to watch a game. We want to go watch baseball games where you win.
Right.
Yes. Not everybody from St. X, Elder, Moeller, Xavier, UC. I don't care about, like you just said, Timbuktu. Bring them all in.
Yeah, I don't care.
Wins. Yeah. Those are what matters. Like, we don't care. Like, yes, Schwarber would have been awesome. It's Cincinnati kid. That's a great story. It would have been. Now, if he would have done that and won,
perfect.
But just win, and the money will be there. People will come watch the game. They won't ask a question. What high school did you go to?
Right.
They won't ask that question.
That is a Cincinnati thing, though. You got to know what high school
We don't. Well, you know Schwarber. We'll just go. We know he's a midi, so
he's a
like,
midi.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, and all you got to do is go back to looking when Carl Linder owned the team. He paid two guys. He paid Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Larkin. And we didn't win shit, and they're both from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I could have cared less. I mean, I want to, like I said, you could be from Pittsburgh, and I hate Pittsburgh. You put on the Reds uniform and you play good, I'll root for you. And you help us win, I'll root for you. You do that with the Bengals, I'll root for you. That's why I don't understand. Like the Bengals and the Reds have been given gifts. Like we're giving a gift to Joe Burrow. The Reds are giving a gift to Ellie De La Cruz. We're not going to be able to afford Ellie when he leaves. Well, I won't say they're not going to be able to afford. They're not going to sign him. They can afford him. They can do it. They're not going to sign him. So you got the short window of time. And you had this young core of pitchers and young hitters. And all you need is like a power bat, a veteran leader. Kind of like when they got Scott Rowland a couple years ago for Votto and Bruce and all that, how that worked out. All you need to do is go get that guy. There's Cody Bellinger. I keep saying his name. He'd be perfect. He's sitting here. Put him in left field or put him in center field. Put TJ Friedl in left field and let's go. But they won't do it. They're not. It's just like the Bengals. It's like, okay, I get it. With the young direction. You had a position on your team where you had Stone take less money. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Well, that means you're probably going to add to the safety room. Nope. Didn't it was horrible last year, and it really hasn't got any better this year. Look, why? Like, all you need to do is just go a little farther, just a little bit. You don't have to go out you don't have to go out and sign, like you said, the highest free agent. Go sign smaller ones. That's fine, but sign impact guys. Like, it's just the Reds and Bengals are so close to actually being really good franchises. It's not even funny. It drives me nuts when you really start thinking about these owners are just, damn it, we just can't do that. Why? If you win, you're going to make money. You're going to sell more jerseys. You're going to sell more tickets. People are going to watch your games more often. Why?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
And nobody can make it make sense to me other than, well, they want to save money. Okay, but I thought you were in the business to make money. You're in sports. Sports, you make money by winning. Look at the Yankees. Look at it. I mean, Dodgers, I know, but I know they're spending a ton of money, but they're making a ton of money too on their TV deal and everything. And I'm not saying the Reds can do what the Dodgers are doing, but just try a little bit. It's
But you'd be surprised what the stadium would look like and what concession sales look like and jersey sales. And you'd be surprised what that looks like and people wanting to actually represent the Reds. I think same thing when you were talking to Sheeran about it. And he said something about how they're losing a whole generation of fans who aren't going to care about the team. So sales are bad now, but just wait till all these older fans I grew up with you and I'm like, I can't let him go because I love him. Right. My son, I'm pushing him hard. He's got Red stuff and he's like, he loves going to baseball games, but I'm like, he's like, we made the playoffs this year. Like, it's been the first time. And then we got our ass kicked. So,
my son's 25. My daughter's 21. I have a grandson now. And none of them have seen the Reds win a playoff series. I mean, I've been alive for 3 World Series. I only remember one of them, the 1990. But I mean, the Reds are literally losing a generation because they've never seen them win anything, nothing.
Yeah, we don't even need the World Series. We don't need to sweep the A's anymore. Let's just get to the playoffs. Let's get to the playoffs and win a playoff series. Then we'll move on from there.
Let's build up slowly. But I mean, the crazy thing is for the Reds, even if they don't do anything. I mean, I like they wouldn't sign a left-handed reliever, which they needed to. That helps. Their pitching is going to be fine. If Ellie De La Cruz can hit and play like the MVP he should, and Marte and all these young guys that can come up and hit like they did when they first came up, we could be okay. But if they hit like they did last year, we're gonna be in trouble again. And that's where, we had the hope, which it's cool, but I'd like to have a little more guarantee,
Yeah, it's the same thing as with the Bengals. It's like I don't want to just hope. That's what I don't want to hope. I want to like go in and be like, yeah, look at this. This is going to be it's such a on both sides of them, both the Reds and the Bengals. You're like, come on, just a little bit. We just need a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little
dang
bit.
it.
Okay. All right, on that note, let's get the hell out of there. Bank, go ahead, plug some stuff for you before I'll let you go. We do this all over again next Thursday.
Yep. Fantasy playoffs going on. So send me your questions. We talked about Thursday night game tonight, but let me know if you got any. You can DM me at Robert. You can see it on there, Robert_banker. I've been a little busy. So I have soccer tournaments and stuff this week. So I've been doing more Twitter and little short videos than getting the full videos out, but still getting my stardom, my bullish bearish list out there for you guys to take a look at. But if you have any questions, shoot me a DM. Please go check out the show on YouTube though, Fantasy Bankroll. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Send me some questions. Let's go win some fantasy play. Hey, real quick, I forgot. I actually was trying to get her to come on and talk a little smack with me. I'm playing Derek's wife on the Orange Arrow. I'm playing his wife this week in our sleeper league. So that sleeper league's really fun too.
Sarah!
Hey, she's been my nemesis. I've gone to get 3 years now, me and her every year, either in the championship or to get to the championship. So unfortunately for her, not that it might not matter for her to win. She lost Mahomes this week. So that's a hit when you lose your starting quarterback that got you there. So, but that Project Game Day fantasy league that we're in every year is a good fantasy league. So next year, take a look at it. It's just a $20 donation to Project Game Day. And then we go on Sleeper and do a whole bunch of leagues in there. So PPR, Parkinson and Bowers. Bowers got a tough matchup this week. And we just talked about Parkinson. I think he's going to get at least half of Devontae Adams' targets since he's out this week. So, and they're obviously Seattle's going to try and take away Puka. I don't know if you can. Puka's averaging 110 yards a game by himself, and Seattle's only giving up 109 yards to wide receivers. So it's going to be something's got to give.
Was it Puka a second round pick? Or was it third round?
He was. Oh God! Now I want to
talk about drafting and developing and how the Rams have done a freaking awesome job.
What was he now? Oh, dude, it's ridiculous, dude. What is he there? Draft. He was, I want to say second, wasn't he?
He wasn't a first. He's at least second or third.
Oh, fifth.
Oh, my God.
Fifth. Oh, my gosh. I don't know why I was thinking. I honestly, when you first said it, I thought fourth, but then I was like, no, that's not. That seems too. Nope, it was even worse. So 144.
They went from F them picks to be able to draft and develop.
Well, you can F them picks if your fifth round picks are going to be all pros, and really his first year he started out there. If I start Parkinson, flex Bowers, Gainwell, or Reed. We talked about Gainwell. He's got a tough matchup. I like Reed. I have Diggs, but disappointed. Yeah, Diggs he had those couple good weeks, and he does have the Steelers this week, which have been pretty bad against wide receivers. So there is that, and they've been a little bit better against like tight end. So there is a chance that he has an uptick this week as far as Diggs goes. I wouldn't play Gainwell because I don't like that matchup against the Lions. We already talked about that earlier in the show too. Reed's a maybe. They are on the road against the Bears, so that's a tough one. Bowers, he's got a tough matchup, but when they Texans get into the red zone, they're a little bit weaker against tight end position. So there is a chance that he could score score a touchdown or two. I don't want to say two, but score a touchdown, get some points. But I just look at his downside as far as all three of those. So I would start, if I'd say it, start Parkinson. I would flex Bowers on that one. And then, I think Diggs has a little bit of uptick for you.
There you go. All right, Bank. Take it easy. I'll see you next Thursday. And who knows, maybe the Bengals will actually win this week. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. And if anybody drops out, let me know. We'll come on and talk some more stuff earlier in the week. And if you're feeling good, I hope you keep feeling better. I know it's cold as shit there. I'm gonna go out and enjoy my 75-degree weather here. Love you, brother. Who dey?
Who dey? All right, guys. Hope you enjoy that much as I did. Go check out Bank and all his stuff he does over there on Fantasy Bankroll. He does a great job.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paper patio, you need anything. I mean anything. Landscaping required. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window Door and more. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and More. Their website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
That's right. We'll be back down there next Bengals home game. Calling down to Moorline Lager House Best Day Brewing pregame experience. Get your tickets at the Moorline Lager House. We will be in the Fest tent where it's nice and warm, which it shouldn't be that cold the next home game, I think. It won't be as cold as it was the last one. Anyway, come on down. It's a great time. We got DJ, full buffet, beer, football. What else you want? Thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, and Instagram. Hello, Instagram. Yeah. Follow me on all those, along with Threads and TikTok. Also, check out my Substack. I write some articles on it from time to time. It's all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I will be pulling the sound off later on tonight, put it on the podcast. If you missed any of the show and you want to listen to it, like I don't know, in the morning when you're heading to work, since we have no local sports talk radio here in the morning, check the show out. The podcast is on BeanPod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Do me a favor. Listen to it, rate it, like it, review it. Leave a 5-star review and a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Other than that, we'll be back tomorrow for a Who Day Football Friday. We're going to have the Godfather, Anthony Kazenza, and Dale Altman will also be on. So we'll be talking more Burrow. Dale will be there. We'll talk some draft. Godfather, I have some interesting takes. So make sure you guys check us out tomorrow. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Who Day for life. And that's your sports, baby. See ya!
Another great show. You guys still here? The show's over. You can come back tomorrow. I'm out of here. See ya.